Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, Plus Sport. And today's Saturday, it's going to be a bomber package for all our viewers across the globe watching this. Interviews, tracks, memory, sporting events that brought Nigeria the best of the best in 2022. And beyond that, we'll be talking to an expert when it comes to football academy. We have a well-experienced football administrator, Bayonle Arashi, who started his journey from Nigeria, owning a football club in Nigeria called Midas Football Academy. From there, he went out to build a football academy, a new football academy in America. He's doing so well for himself. But he's going to be our guest today. I'll be talking so much about football academy and the challenges. It's good to have you on the show. Bye, Ali.
Thank you very much for having me. It's exciting being here this morning.
Okay, fine. And we'll go straight to the challenges of football academy. It's not the right thing for Nigeria, knowing that Nigeria is so good in football across the globe. But when you come back home, realize that there's no so much to talk about football academy. So how come Nigeria was able to succeed so well globally, national event, and we don't have a football academy in the country? Tell us about this.
Again, thank you for those positive feedback. It's been a very, very challenging thought personally for me. Thinking why things work in other climes, like you said, but we just refuse to grow and to want to develop and to want to get better as a people and give our young people the same opportunities some other folks did not have while they were growing up. And I think it's a question of leadership that you ask. Most of the leadership of the Football Federation over the last maybe 20 years, let me not go too far back. I think after the 90s, things changed rapidly for us and we started shifting focus away from the normal routine of investing in grassroots football and see these players develop from grassroots players into going to the national team, introducing them to professional clubs, and of course having a chance to become professional players. And hence academies started. We have administrators, people that love the game just more than talking about it, deciding to start something that has worked in other countries, of course, and that's football academies. Yeah, but the starting of it does not mean that it's working because the infrastructure is not there. How many parks do we have around Lagos, for example, that you can see a football field there that you can use to practice with your players? How many football fields is built by the Football Federation or even the state football association? And you can't really blame the state association for it, even though most of them do go ahead to become part of the Football Federation at large. But the people at the helms of affairs, the people that are governing the game, because you can want to blame the game all you want, but some people are saddled with the responsibility of managing the game, of managing the resource that they get from FIFA every year. We qualify for a major tournament because these are some of the things that people do not even know at home, that FIFA, the World Football Governing Body, give funds to every football federation towards a contribution to their own football development. What are we doing with this money? These are the things that give you headache when you think about it. So, but to answer your question, I just think it's a leadership question. If our leadership are willing to get their act together, call some of the administrators that are doing things right now, despite the difficulty, despite how challenging it is in Nigeria. I was just having a discussion with one of my coaches yesterday, last night in Nigeria, telling me about the team we are trying to set up there because there's just so much talent. Kids, 13, 14, 15-year-old, just asking me more or less like begging what he should not even be begging for. Like, we need to do something with these boys. And I told him, how many, I can only do so much. How many kids does one man want to help? I live in the United States, thank God, but that does not mean that it is all rosy in this part of the world as well. You have to work very, very hard in this part of the world to make money. And when you make the money goes back into the system. You pay your bills. So whatever you have left is what you use to invest in the academy back home, pay coaches, and do other things and take care of your family. So we need leaders to rise up, and the ones that are there, we need them to just give it a thought and look at things from a different perspective and start doing the right things. There's so much that can be done, and I've always been willing to put my hands in there on deck with anyone that wants to work with me or wants to work with other administrators to see how we can introduce a system that has worked in other part of the world into the Nigerian football system as well.
Yeah, people keep asking this. Well, sir, people keep asking this that how do you start a football academy? And well, I'm not going to say anything theoretical. We want you to use your own example because you have Midas Football Academy here in Nigeria. Before a few weeks ago, you opened another one in UK. Procedures, documentations, and what may not. What are those things, using your own experience that you encountered from registrations, the vision, the mission, what you had, and where you saw that Nigeria still had a long way? Tell us how you started the Midas Football Academy in Nigeria some years ago.
Midas Football Academy in Nigeria was actually first thought of in 2006 after I had a chance of going to the FIFA World Cup in 2006 in Germany as broadcaster, working with Canal France International then. And the experience was really wonderful. I saw how much people love the game in Europe. That was my first time actually traveling to that part of the world. And when I came back, I started thinking about it. What can we do? There is a friend of mine that was playing football in Ghana back then. He was not very successful with his own career as well. So I started discussing it with him that, look, I'm thinking of this. And he said, why not? That he will be willing to jump on and for us to do something together. So in 2008, we decided to start. Not that we were registered as a corporate organization then or anything, but we gathered a couple of boys together at Ota back then, and we started training. And I started posting. I mean, I was an early internet adopter. I used internet very, very early on. I was posting about the academy, and some of the friends I made in Europe were like, "Oh, you started an academy?" I said, "Yes, just trying to give the boys an opportunity to be able to engage themselves and use their energy that they have in those teenage years. You know how young men are. They want to exert their energy. They want to do something." And he was like, "Okay, would you mind bringing them to a tournament in Europe next year, being 2009?" I said, "Absolutely, yes." I talked to some of the parents of the players that we had back then. Yeah, they were very interested. And luckily for us, we applied for the visas to travel to Germany in the summer of 2009. And out of the 18 players, it's a very interesting story. Out of the 18 players that we applied visa for, they approved 13 visas. I remember very well. I think, no, 12 visas, because after we had a full team on the field, we only have one substitution, and one official was approved, and that official being myself. So we went to Europe with 12 players and one official to play the Lions Gold Cup then in Hamburg. And fortunately for us, again, the boys were, of course, motivated. They won the tournament in the under 17 category in Germany. We also had a chance of going to a huge football festival in Denmark called the football festival in the city of Aarhus in Denmark. And the boys won that as well. And that was like a very big thing back then. We came back with the boys, which is another story entirely. A lot of parents were not happy that, why did you come back with the boys? Why can't you let them just stay back there? Not understanding that there's a lot of things that is involved. You would think that based on that little success that we had, that when we come back home, it will be easy for us to set things up. I saw it as a business very early on back then. Did a launching, invite some local administrators to come in and try to raise about 10 million naira then to build a facility. But I don't think we even made 200,000 naira, to tell you how difficult it has been. But not being deterred by all of those challenges, we kept on training, kept on giving the boys opportunity, played in played the state FA Cup in 2010 and 11, of course, knocked out in the first game.
So
And this has been the
the story,
roller coaster
yeah.
experience for us.
So
So just keep training, keep training, keep training. So it is, if I tell you there's a particular system to it, it does not exist in Nigeria because the system is not in place. Not up until 2014 when we become a limited liability company now in Nigeria, because I had to put a proper structure in the company and looking at what we want to do in the future. So it is not an easy thing. I'm
do
not going to
you
tell you there's a structure, and it still goes back to what I said at the beginning.
okay? Thank you. Does this say? Have you ever been uh, a beneficiary of those funds that FIFA gives, or do you ever know any other clubs of that have been a beneficiary to that fund that the FIFA gives to the football federations to support the growth of football in the country?
I mean, you can. I'm sure you can see from the smirk on my face that the answer is no. Not even a naira or a dollar have we ever been a beneficiary of. But personally, for me, I wouldn't be expecting the FA to issue checks to us. What I will be expecting and what I'm still hoping for is for any football administrator that is there. I am not even talking about the president of the Football Federation. Now I'm talking about him starting from the state FA by asking them, what are we going to do with all these kids that we have that are passionate about football? We know that that's the only sport that unify us as a people in Nigeria. I don't know why people don't take that serious enough. Somebody actually said that is the third religion we have in Nigeria, apart from Islam and Christianity. Watch out when the Super Eagles are playing in a major championship and see how much people come together. We need our leaders to come together and say, how can we have a structure for our football, from forming of proper football academies, helping these football academies to have places to train, just build mini football fields. It doesn't have to be a stadium. Create a park where fields, so academy can have access to train.
Okay.
Something as simple as this will go a long way from whatever resource you guys are getting from the World Football Governing Body, and also for whatever you can able to raise locally. There is so much potential. Thank you for mentioning the starting of the academy in the United States, which
I was going to come to that because there are several questions we need to ask concerning that, because in the videos we have, we saw some kids training. We're going to talk about that facility. How visible was that to you? What was the cost? You understand? Maybe that's kind of facility you were hoping that, or something better than that, that the Nigerian Football Federation or Football Sport Administration should have to encourage those football academies. We're still going to come about that. But let's take our viewers away from you and let's remind us of the Nigerian Football Federation. We're still coming to you, Bayonle Arashi. Let's not take our mind to the Nigerian Professional Football League. There's a highlight of the match between Plateau United and Bayonle Insurance, where Bayonle Insurance is still holding ace at the top of the log table. They've not lost this season. No Nigerian team has ever done that, anything on record. But Bayonle Insurance in these abridged leagues have not lost in this season. And this is their last match against Plateau United, where they went to Plateau United to get a draw. Enjoy this. Okay, we'll be bringing you that much better highlight. That was supposed to be the highlight between Super Falcons and AT that ended in a win for Super Falcons. We'll go back to Arashi, who is talking about the challenges of football academy in Nigeria. Now, let's not go back to the question. Is now you've had another academy in the United States. How did you go about? Was it as easy, or were there other challenges you've experienced in that?
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting question. For me to do anything in most things I've done in my life, I always ask myself why. What's my why? What's the reason why I'm starting this? Why do I want to do what I want to do? And the reason for starting the academy here was if I tell you it wasn't financially motivated, that will not be totally true, but that's not the why. The why is I observed that there was a need for it. Let me give you some interesting data. As at 2015, it was recorded that there is a population of about 250,000 Nigerians in the city of Houston alone. 250,000 people. And when they mentioned that, that's actually the ones that they have in the system that are permanent residents. So the concentration of Nigerians and other Africans in Texas, in the state of Texas itself, is huge. And to talk of the city of Houston, which is very, very diverse, it has people from all cultures. So I look at that and I said, this is very interesting. Secondly, United States of America is known to be the capital of not something that is very, very positive of incarceration. America, about 5% population of United States population is incarcerated. So people go to prison very easily here. And once that happens, their foundation is destroyed. When they come out of prison, they can't do anything with themselves. They can't get a job. They can't get an apartment. They can't do nothing. So those two combined, I look at it that, okay, I can use football or sport as a form of way to inspire these young men to start very early on in their life. If they use their energy to go to training and play football and develop themselves and get busy and get tired, they will not have the strength to talk with their friends, to want to go and steal from some local store or go and rob somebody's that just earn his hard-earned money or rob the ATM. So that was what took me to say, okay, I need to start something here. And of course, the academy system already existed in Nigeria. I already have years of experience operating an academy without almost nothing to operate with. So in a place like this, if anything does not exist, what existed at the moment is a system. There is a system in place for whatever you want to do in the United States. Being a business, you want to work, you want to get into the system in terms of immigration, there's a system you have to follow as long as you are patient and you are willing to put in the work. So I just took advantage of that and registered the academy here. And that was why we started. And our vision is very big to be able to have our infrastructure in the nearest future where we will have a couple of kids, between 100 and 120 of them, put them into the academy for 3 to 4 years, where they're going to learn football, basically. Like that's going to be what they would do morning, afternoon, and evening, along with getting education, getting school education, and also vocational education. Like I said, this is a system that rewards. If you come into the academy at the age of 13 or 14 and you are graduating by the time you are 18 as a young adult and teenager, you already have something in hand. Either you are going out with you being possibly becoming a professional football player, or with a diploma to get a job, or with a vocation where at least you can add value to the community, you can add value to the system. You can either be an auto mechanic, you can be a fashion designer, you could learn anything in the area of computer, or personally, I've been a broadcaster for over 23 years. Yeah. I can teach you a lot of things in media, speaking, voiceover, recording with your camera, creating great photography. So these are the things that we set in mind to achieve with the academy here. And that's what the intention is. And hopefully we will have success in the nearest future.
Yeah, we wish you so much success on that. And Bayonle, I think we want to know, before we round up, who your targets are over there.
Thank you very much for that question. The target is all kids. Every kid that has a dream, that wants to be somebody in life, that wants to be a better human being. I always lay emphasis on that because if we have better human being in all facets of life, then our world can get better, then crime will be reduced. But more importantly, if you want to find your purpose very early in life, yes, you are our target. The African community here is big, like I said. I'm hoping that they can tap into that. but I'm not dependent on it, knowing our antecedents made it for many, many years. So it is all kids.
Okay.
Everyone that wants to play football or soccer, as we call it here, those are the target audience that we have. And we're hoping that in the next couple of years, as I've always administered, that putting in the work for me is very, very important. We'll start having results. We don't expect any magic in a year or two. The minimum target we set for ourselves is 5 years.
Okay.
Because if we have any 13-year-old now, that 13-year-old will only turn 18 in about 5 years. So we're going to put in the work. I assure you of that. And you're going to start seeing the results in the next few years.
Well said, Bayonle. Time is longer, our friend. But I want you in few words to tell me, I love Nigerians. You got those kids that will probably be seeing right now, training with you, who are there, and the field of play. That field, what, did you get it from the community? How do you gather your first entries?
Well, by doing the work again, by going around, reaching out to communities, reaching out to businesses, reaching out to parents, and telling them what I just told you now, the reason why we are starting the academy. And as for the park, America is a capitalist system. It is also a charity system. So if you see that you want to go through the capitalism route or you want to go through the charity route, we started with the capitalism route, even though one of our targets is to make the game more affordable, because an average academy in America charges about $2,500, $2,500 for a kid to play football. That is one of the reasons why you don't see many people play it, because the parents will be like, I don't even like that sport anyway. Why should I pay that amount of money for my kid to train? So one of our own plan is to slash that by almost half. Because yes, I want the money, but more importantly, I want to see the kids grow first. So we make it very affordable. But going forward, we're going to go the charity route. It's going to be a non-governmental organization because we are targeting a specific area. We're trying to reduce the rate of crime. We're trying to encourage young people to play the game. So we believe that we're going to get donations, contributions going forward to be able to build the dream that we have. But for the park, the community gave it to us for that particular day for free. There are parks everywhere, but because that place is a very popular place that everybody uses, so they give you time and dates to use it. So for that particular day, we launched there. But we have a permanent training ground somewhere in Missouri City in Texas. Through the community as well. For 2-hour session every other day that we train, it costs between $15 an hour. So it's something that we can be able to afford, but it is there. And you are only paying that money for them to be able to use to maintain that place for you. And we don't have any regrets paying that.
Thank you very much, Bayonle. Keeping Nigerian flag in diaspora flying. Thank you very much for what you've done.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for having me, and say hello to everybody in the studio for me. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, have a good day too. That's Bayonle Arashi, who is a football administrator, just opened a football academy in United States, having done that in Nigeria for a very long time. But we will not let you go without giving you the highlight of the last match in the Nigerian Professional League, that match the 12 between Plateau United and Bayonle Insurance. On that note, we draw the curtain for today's wonderful program. I hope you are enlightened and more entertained, so that next week, we'll give you all what you need to know in the world of sport. I'm Muda Shishitu. Thanks for being with me throughout.